taking full control. From the link to the X, from the Sixers to the fields. One voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started the fire. Lost the whole game back in 86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your take, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it, that's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin show. Let's go get signed. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.
Yes, you're riding with the king, the Howard Eskin Show, on this as we're live on Saturday morning, going into a weekend of football, all kinds of good football. Actually, some really good college games, a big Eagles game. They're all, yeah, as Nick Sirianni says, we're going to get into that. They're all big. Dallas is no big deal, but we'll get into that. But first, I want to tell you that I am proud to have the presenting sponsor of Stillwell Financial Advisors, Jeff Stillwell, in a changing, very changes all the time, a changing world of finance. Jeff Stillwell is always ahead of the curve and on top of it, and can help you invest your wealth, whatever you want to do. Talk to Jeff about it. Give him a call, Jeff Stillwell, 732-343-0813. All right. We're going to talk, obviously, today. And you and me, as we do on Saturday mornings, it's you and me to talk about what you want to talk about. But obviously, the Eagles are the big topic. But we're going to get into the Phillies too. They have not done anything yet. I am so tired of looking at all these reports on social media that they just throw out things. Yeah, are they? The Phillies talk to pretty much everybody, but it's out of control. But we're going to get into that, and whether you think, number one, what they have to do, and whether you think they're doing enough. And when you click into join, and I know I see Robert up there, but Robert, for whatever reason, doesn't have audio. This is really not rocket science. You click into the link, which is on the chat page here, and it's the same link each week. So once you have it, you have it. So the link is there. Click into it. And the important thing is, you see there, allow the microphone and the camera. Now, if you don't want to be on camera, I'm okay with that as long as I can hear you. But we need the audio. There's icons at the bottom there. If there's a line through the microphone's not on. So make sure there's not a line through that. If you want to have a line through the camera or not, as long as we can hear you, I'm good with that. So it's you and me today. And you've heard the music or the song for my introduction. That was voted as the one by you that is the best. Like it, it's just kind of an upbeat way to start the show. So we'll talk about the Eagles and what Nick Sirianni had to say. And I'm going to play it for you later, but he doesn't think Dallas is any more a big deal than anything else. Nick Sirianni, I think, is a good coach. I think he's got a good personality if he ever allows himself to show it publicly. But my gosh, Nick, you've been in Philadelphia long enough. If you want to try to tell your players every game's important, that's fine. But don't tell the fans the Dallas game isn't any more important. I'm going to play what he had to say on Friday. it's really kind of a come on, Nick. It's kind of a joke. It's a big game, and will it change winning the division? No, the Eagles are going to win the division because the division might be. I don't know if it's the worst division in the NFL, but it might be, if not the worst, the second worst division in the NFL. There's no really good teams. Washington has failed. The Giants continually suck. And the Cowboys always find a way to suck. The Cowboys always find a way to suck. So, what's I mean, what's in it? It just it's still a big game because it's Eagles Dallas. Also, this week we had no AJ Brown distractions. He was so, I don't know if I like AJ being low key. He kind of said, yeah, he didn't really say anything, but somebody asked him if he's the same player, and his response, it was a quick response. Well, is Saquon the same player? Nobody's the same player. He's a good player, but it's not the offensive coordinator. The quarterback has got to find the receivers. Now Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, but he doesn't always take the chances that a good quarterback takes. He can't be reckless with the football, but he's so worried about turning the ball over. I don't think he is comfortable. Matter of fact, I'm probably sure he's not comfortable throwing in the tight windows. Playbooks reduced, so you should know and be able to execute the plays well. But it's just he's got to be better. All right, the Phillies. Well, they didn't sign. I guess they tendered Alec Boehm the contract. But that doesn't mean Alec Boehm's going to be with the team. Then there was a social media report that the Phillies are the front runners to trade for Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado was at once a terrific third baseman. He's still a very good defensive player, but his offense has struggled. He's struggled offensively the last 3 years. The Phillies chase people that may be at the end or already at the end. I don't know. The Phillies have to do something. Schwarber, I don't know that the Phillies are going to offer as much. Now there's a story that they're looking at a Japanese pitcher. Those players that come from Japan, most of them are pretty good players. A lot of them don't want to come to Philadelphia or the East Coast other than probably New York. They like the West Coast because of the Asian community out there. They got to fix that lineup. I think they got to fix, but I want to hear from you. Mark Lawrence will join us to take a look at the weekend football. And the Flyers with a gutty win Thursday night. They were down 2-0, and they came back to win it in overtime. Wasn't even a shootout. They came back to win it in overtime. Flyers are grinders. They had a little couple of game stretch there where, as I have said, and I will stand by this, other than the Eagles, and we'll exclude them because they have the best chance to be the next Philadelphia team to win a championship. However, excluding the Eagles, I think the Flyers have the best chance to win the next team to win a championship in Philadelphia. I don't think it's anytime soon. I think they're going to be really competitive within 2 years, but I don't think the Sixers will be competitive for years. And the Phillies, I think, have missed their win. A good team, but I think they missed their window. I think they missed their window. So we'll see. I will see what happens. All right. So you can click in, join the program before Mark Lawrence and after Mark Lawrence. And I think, Joe, that we have somebody up there. Okay, let's go to George.
Good morning, King. Good morning. How are you? Happy Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Happy Saturday and happy Thanksgiving.
Give me some
because
sunshine. I'm coming down your way today to Longwood Gardens.
oh,
On our
okay,
annual pilgrimage down there. Hope we need some sunshine, man. I don't need this rain.
okay.
Hey,
No, I
Phil,
think it's supposed to clear up as we get through the day.
I like your weather forecast. You're better than the weatherman for sure.
I did weather it one time.
I know. I know you did. Hey,
It's not rocket science, trust me.
hey, I'm on board now with Pete Alonso. I think Kyle Schwarber, 30 million a year he wants. I think
30,
that's a
he's going to
little.
get more than 30 million a year.
Give me Pete Alonso. I'm on board with that because I think Pete has a little bit younger. I think in that ballpark at Citizens Bank Park, he'll do just as much damage as Kyle did.
Okay, but here's the problem with that. There's a problem at first
DH
base.
him. Just DH him.
DH2.
Because we know, make him a
DH Harper?
No. Alonso said he's willing to DH.
Just DH
He's willing
Alonso.
to DH.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Yes, we all know what's going on. I'm a Bryce Harper fan, but we know everything goes through Bryce. I mean, seriously,
Yeah, Alonso wouldn't be as expensive. He's not going to hit as many home runs, but he's I got to check his stats. How many strikeouts did he have last year?
I don't think he had as many as Schwarber.
No, they need contact hitters, and in that lineup, they need players to put the ball in play. That's what they need. I'm looking at. I'm going to look up Alonso's statistics. But if he's not, I'm okay with that. If he wants a DH, I'm okay with that.
He has put that out there this week that he's willing to DH. So that to me,
and he's not. He's not. He just turned 30, but he's still not.
He's not at the end of his career like
no,
he's not. Schwarber is.
He's certainly. You know what? He's not at the end of his career. Let me just check. All right, so he's played 7 years. I thought he played more than 7 years in the big leagues, but he's played 7 years. Last year, he actually DH for 2 games last year, which is crazy. Let me see his strikeouts. Why can't I find his strikeouts? Are you kidding me? Oh, that's his playoffs. No, he's in the playoffs 7 years. Why can't I find Pete Alonso's? This is not so. All right, I'm going to find it, but I don't think he's a strikeout. I don't think he's a strikeout guy.
He gets contact of the ball. I mean, I watched him because I'm a fan of his. I'm not a Mets fan, but I am a fan of Pete Alonso, and I think he wants. I think he wants out of New York. I mean, just from listening to his last press conference at the end of the year, it just sounds like he says all the right things, but I think he's had enough with the Mets, and they got problems.
Well, let's be honest about this. Players just want the money.
I agree. Okay. I agree with you.
So
Schwarber had 197 strikeouts last year. I'm in the baseballreference.com. Schwarber had 197 last year.
Yeah, he had 162.
Schwarber had I got my glasses.
Alonso had 162 strikeouts.
Okay, so
which is not terrible in today's game. That's not terrible. But I like Bohm. I like Bohm too.
You keep talking about Bohm, and
they keep on wanting to trade him.
He keeps every time you hear trades on, and I read all the internet stuff, and I try not to take it all seriously because all you keep hearing is Kyle Tucker, and that's a pipe dream for me. I'm like, Kyle Tucker? Are you kidding me? Everybody wants Kyle Tucker, but Bohm's name always comes up when you hear trades. That he's the first one out there that they're willing to trade.
I know it just like they don't want to pay him as a free agent. I don't. He's better. He's better than a lot of. He's better than if there's a man on third base. Let's put it this way. This is the way I characterize Alec Bohm. There's a man on third base with less than 2 outs. The first player I wanted to play is Alec Bohm.
Do you like him better than Nelson Arenado? I'm going to bring in his name because you brought it up.
Well, Nelson Arenado has declined, and St. Louis would pay some of his money. He's a really good third baseman, but he's declined offensively. I don't know what his strikeouts are, but do I like him better than Nelson Arenado? Right now, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. because he makes contact. Alec Bohm makes contact. That's the difference. All right. Is the Eagles, I got to get into this because Nick Sirianni said it's not a
Howard,
bigger game
I know
than
where you're
anything else.
going. It's a big thing. Okay. I was just going to
Does
mention
he
it to you.
understand what
He
Philadelphia
doesn't get
people?
Philly. You know what? I even like it better when the NFC East is competitive, like the late '80s and '90s, when all the teams are good, because it just makes it more intensified. Yo, Nick, you don't get it then, man. Dallas Giants. It's Dallas week, and it's just those nitwits. They come out of the woodwork like you've always said. I know Cowboy Jim will get all fired up.
Yeah.
But he has to understand. No matter how bad Dallas is, it's huge for Philadelphia Eagle fans. It is.
All right. Hey, George.
Hey, have a good weekend.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Before I get to Mark Lawrence and the other callers, I want to tell you about a great deal going on at Audi Westchester. And it's 3.99% financing up to 72 months on the new remodeled A5 and A5 sedan. Now, 3.99% is really, really good in the world that we live in today. 1.99% financing up to 72 months on the Q5 SUV, which is a very, very popular vehicle for Audi. 1421 Wilmington Pike. You'll have fun there. The people are great. Grab a cup of coffee, grab some snacks, look at a bunch of new cars. Their inventory, they have a ton of inventory there. If you're not looking at those three vehicles, they have a ton of inventory, but it's a great deal. 3.99% on the remodeled A5 and A5 sedan, 1.99% on the Q5, and they always tweak things in remodeling the cars. 1.99% on the Q5 SUV. Really good deal. Audi Westchester. Check them out, AudiWestchester.com. And I don't know if it's too late if you had ideas about a pool, but Piazza Property Pros, 25 years of experience tells you, I think all you need to know with Piazza Property Pros, 25 years of experience. They don't subcontract, whether it's building a pool, whether it's remodeling your property, your backyard, whether it's excavation, hardscaping, fencing, landscaping, redesigning, whether it's a fire pit, whatever it is, they can do it. Great people, great service. Give them a call for a free consultation, 610-566-2608, 610-566-2608. Check them out at piazzaoutdoor.com. And also, let me tell you, from our last show, our winner of the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. And the question to Tony Bruno, and I think he made it very, very clear. I asked him what Tony's biggest outrage, the news and sports media of Philadelphia. And we had a winner. Brian Sweeney, you win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. Enjoy it. You'll have a good time with the food. Plenty of locations. And Brian, enjoy your Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. And today, and we'll come up with a question from the show. Today, we're going to give away. This was and it may still be a very good collectible. It's an artist proof of a Mike Schmidt figurine, a Gartland figurine, and that is actually Mike Schmidt's signature on there. Michael Jack Schmidt. That's the prize today. There's the certificate of authenticity. I'll ask the question. Give us an answer by midnight Friday, November 28th. That's next Friday. And we'll announce it on the show on Saturday on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. You can always subscribe to YouTube and be notified when the show comes on. Twitter, I assume, does the same thing if you follow my posts. And submit it to my website, howardeskin.com. All right, the weekend football. There's actually some pretty good college games. Let's bring in Mark Lawrence to take a look at the weekend football. And really some good college football games. Mark, do you agree there's some really good college football games this weekend?
I think it's a really attractive card, Howard. Next week, the biggest week, the most attractive, but this really sets the table, if you will. I think there's some good looking games on the card today.
Well, next week's the end of the season, or is it the conference playoffs?
Well, it's the end of the what we would call the full season. We're going to get a full array of scheduled games next week. After that, it just completely thins out. You start getting into the end of the season is going to be next week for 90% of the teams.
Right. Okay.
So they'll be into either their conference playoffs or they'll be into packing their bags and going home, which a lot of teams will be doing after this week for sure.
All right. I'm going to ask a question before we get to your games. Notre Dame, which I think the greed that exists out in South Bend, the haven of hypocrisy, the greed that exists because they're not in a conference, so they don't have to share bowl money. They don't have to share television money. They have their own network. I do not think they should be eligible for the college football playoffs if you don't play a conference football game, which really makes it difficult for a lot of teams. That's my take, your feeling on that.
Well, that would have to be mandated by the NCAA, which is never going to happen. The NCAA doesn't carry much weight anyway with what it is they do. And I agree with you. You know, they live in a world all of their own. They have a league all of their own. I remember a good friend of mine lived in South Bend. I used to go to a couple of Notre Dame football games there. And that team owns the entire city. They own the parking, everything, parking even on lawns near the stadium. They own the rights to that. It's incredible. They're just money hounds, is what they are, Notre Dame, and they're going to keep doing it, Howard, as long as they're allowed to keep doing it. That's what they're going to do.
Okay, I don't think they should be. First of all, they shouldn't be ranked higher than Alabama. I'm not an Alabama. I'm not a fan of either, but they shouldn't be ranked higher than Alabama because Alabama has more quality wins. I think they beat Notre Dame. Did Alabama defeat Notre Dame earlier in the year? But Notre Dame has one quality win and Alabama has four, and they both have the same number of losses. Why is Alabama ranked behind right now and out of the college football playoff picture behind Notre Dame? I have an answer, but I want to hear your take, and I'll give you my answer.
Well, I think the answer is number one, what just did you do for me most recently here? Alabama's coming off a loss, so they slipped in the polls a bit. And unfortunately for them, they slipped behind Notre Dame, who's on the rise right now. Notre Dame's played some really pretty good football. You have to give them their due. You might not like who they played or who they beat this football season, but they've been pounding out the opposition here with regularity. They're just crunching everybody in the stats. They got outgained their first two games, and they've drowned everybody else since, has Notre Dame. So there's a football team that's an avalanche coming down the hill, and Alabama tripped up last week.
Okay, my answer?
Yes.
The NCAA wants Notre Dame in the playoffs because of television, because they get higher ratings than any other team. You can give me any team in college football, and Notre Dame, because of the pathetic Kool-Aid drinkers that followed Notre Dame, they will get higher television ratings, and that's all the NCAA cares about.
Well, they're positioned nicely. Number 9 right now in the polls. They get 2 cupcake games to end the season.
Yeah.
Here today against Syracuse. Next week, what is it, at Stanford? So they're going to be in the playoffs. It's just a question of where they're going to be. And my guess is if a team or two loses above them, which is going to happen, they might even end up finishing as high as number 6 in the poll. For Notre Dame will be this year, and that's keeps everybody happy. You know?
They should not be eligible for a national championship without playing a conference, without being in a conference, because you have to play a conference championship game. They should not be in there. The greed should not override the reality.
We should submit that as the Howard Eskin rule to the NCAA for Notre Dame.
Those people at Notre Dame people. Well, when Lou Holtz was there, I really buried him because they were total frauds. But whatever. It's just I'm not a fan of Notre Dame because they're not partners with the other college football teams, and that's what college football teams should be. They should be a partnership in the NCAA, and that doesn't exist. I just.
You know, they flirted with it, Howard, with the ACC for a while. They played their schedule.
They play their schedule, but they're not part of the conference.
No, they're not. The basketball team is in the ACC basketball conference.
Right.
But the football team just will not separate itself because of the money, like you said.
I don't know how that happens. All right. So, all right, let's take a look at the weekend in college football. Who do you like?
Well, this is a great time right now for handicapping the games because the bowl games are coming up here real soon, and this is the time you want to fade these football teams that are either coming off of their sixth win to become bowl eligible, or teams that are looking for their sixth win to get that bowl eligibility. So you want to play against 6-win teams that are just off a win, or on 5-win teams that are looking to do just that. I'm going to play against two favorites that are off their sixth win this season here, and I think they're both suspect of letdowns this week anyway. I'm going to play Stanford plus 3.5 against Cal. That's a old time rivalry, if you will. I
Hmm.
don't know if the two schools realize it. I don't know if anybody else does, but this is rivalry that goes back as long as any rivalry does. California comes off the win to clinch that sixth bowl eligibility win. This becomes Stanford's bowl game because they can do nothing more than that. Wrap up this win and call it a good season because we beat Cal. Just like Ohio State, Michigan, we beat Cal. I think Stanford will take California down today.
And they're only Cal's only 3.5.
Three
So
and a
that's
half, exactly.
yeah,
Stanford,
yeah.
the home dog, yes.
Kind of tells you something. All right, who else do you like?
The other guy, we're going to play Kansas in the Big 12. We're going to, in that football game, we're going to fade Iowa State. Iowa State comes off their sixth win of the season, and they were drowned in the yardage in that victory they had. They
Hmm.
lost to TCU. They won the game, but lost by 160 yards in the victory. That doesn't sit well. Now you got Kansas sitting here at 5-5 on the season. They need this win like a vampire needs blood right now. Kansas does. I think they can get it here from Iowa State, who might be suspect, like I say, coming off that phony inside-out win. Give me Kansas plus the 3.5 here.
Yeah, kind of the line maybe telling you something there too, because Iowa's only 3.5.
3.5, exactly.
Yeah, Iowa. What's it? Iowa State only
Right.
minus 3.5. All right. Here's a game. Would you lay 54.5 with
No.
Texas A&M against Samford? Yeah, how can you have a college football game where a team is favored by 54.5 points?
And they've got Texas on deck, no less, okay?
Yeah. It's a joke.
I wouldn't lay 54.5 hard if I knew the final score of the game. I wouldn't do it. It's just against my DNA. You cannot lay 50 points in a college football game. There are automatically play down to the level of opposition type games, and this is going to be it for A&M. They escaped last week. They should never have won the football game. A&M did, but they come back from a huge deficit. They were down 31-3 at the half last week against South Carolina, and come back and won the game. So right now they're on cloud nine as Texas A&M.
You know, you're down 54-0 to start the game. It's just, it's unbelievable. I would, if I would get involved in a game like that, I would take Samford just because it's a ridiculous number. I mean, if they have a big game next week, which they did, you got to call off the dogs a little bit, don't you?
Well, I
You know,
would think so. The second half, you have to rest these starters. You don't want to put anything on film.
Yeah, I know. It's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. All right, Louisville has kind of struggled recently, and SMU. I can't figure out that game. Do you have a side in the SMU Louisville game?
Yeah, I think Louisville comes with everything they've got today. Here's a football team, Howard. They've lost 2 weeks in a row as a favorite both times. So they had the rug pulled out them back-to-back weeks. Jeff Brom, their head coach, is terrific in football games off back-to-back losses.
Mhm.
In fact, when he's been an underdog of back-to-back losses 7 times, he's won the money all 7 times in his career. SMU, I think, is a tad overrated, playing a little bit on last year's reputation. Louisville owns the better stats in the football game, and then the underdog, I think Louisville gets back on track today.
You know, Miami at one time I thought was a top 5 team, Miami of Florida, top 5 team. And then they've kind of wallowed a little bit the second half of their season. Uh, I don't know that I would lay 17.5 points at Virginia Tech because I just don't think a win gets them into the college football playoffs against Virginia Tech. Your thoughts?
Well, a win, they're on the outside looking in right now, Miami.
Yeah.
And, they're going to have to win both of these games, this game against Virginia Tech and next week at Pitt. and I think they might be exposed at Pitt. I'm not a big Carson Beck fan, the quarterback they brought in from Georgia here. He was a shot in the arm to the program to begin the football season, but then his flaws eventually came to surface here, and that's when they struggled, Miami of Florida. And as you know, I'm not a big Mario Cristobal fan either here.
Uh-huh.
So I couldn't lay the points on the road with Miami of Florida, not knowing where they're at right now. I know they have to win games, and if they take care of business, and something likely will happen, they'll end up in the college football playoffs, but they don't have to rub teams out. I don't think they have the ability to do that.
Okay. Temple, and they've gone now 2 or 3 weeks trying to get their sixth win to become bowl eligible. They have a tough game at Army next week. They're playing it's their last home game today in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field. Their last home game. Tulane has some things on the line, but I kind of always like to look at Temple in some of these tougher games. Your thoughts on that game?
I think Temple's in an outstanding position today. Like you mentioned, they need this win to become bowl eligible. This head coach, Casey Keeler, is a really good head coach. He's
Yes, he is.
turned this program around right where they need to be right now. Last home game, they have to win this game here or next week at North Texas, who's a really, really good football team. They have a better chance of taking care of business right here. And you've got Tulane coming in off a win, which they won inside out. They won the game and lost the yards. I think this is an ideal spot for Temple to pull the upset.
Is that who they're playing? North Texas? I thought Temple was playing.
Well, Temple's playing next week at North Texas. Okay,
Yeah, I thought it was Army, but I may have been.
it's at North Texas.
Oh, okay. And North Texas, you're right. North Texas, not a bad team. So they really, and it's their last home game. So
Yep.
to cap off a season, there'll probably be some pretty good energy as far as Temple is concerned today. All right. Let's take a look at the NFL. Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to take a look at. I'm going to fade two favorites coming in here in this football game here that are coming in off wins in which they were completely outplayed. They won the games, but were completely outplayed. And using a couple of underdogs, I think they can win the game straight up. Playing some good football this year. First is Tampa Bay. I'm going to take 6.5 against the Rams, who last week were in a war against Seattle. They won the football game at the very end of the football contest, but were outyarded 165 yards in the game. It's very difficult for a team to get back up off of a big win like that, in which they were completely outplayed in the field. Tampa Bay is beginning to show signs of leaking oil here. This is a football game they will come harder in than the Rams will. I like Tampa Bay in the upset here.
It doesn't seem like you believe in the Rams as much as some people do. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I do believe in the Rams. I'm just playing a situation here, and whether
Okay.
if it were the Rams or if it were San Francisco or for anybody, I'd be telling you about anybody who just won a game and got beat 165 yards, and now they're coming favored against a football team who's a good football team with a winning record. It's all situational in this game. Put tape over the names of the teams, and the name happens to be Tampa Bay this particular week.
Okay. Who else do you like?
The guy's going to be Carolina Monday Night Football against San Francisco. Not getting a lot of love are the Carolina Panthers,
Uh,
despite the job that they've done so far this football season here. Bryce Young has really come into his own here right now. If you look at his last 5 football games, he has a quarterback rating of 106.8. There's not many quarterbacks in the league that have a quarterback rating of 106.8 over the last 5 games, but he does. He's playing really, really good football. And here's the kicker in the game to me. You've got San Francisco, who just beat Arizona and was outyarded by 207 yards.
really?
207 yards. And they're 1-15 to the spread, however, the last 16 times they've won a game. Off a win, San Francisco goes in the tank 15 of the last 16 times. I think Carolina's a live dog in this game.
Okay. The New Orleans Saints the line keeps on jumping a little bit. They were 1.5. Now I see that they're a 2.5 point favorite. Uh, who do you like in that game? First of all, Atlanta, talk about leaking oil.
Oh,
Atlanta has really started to leak oil.
big
Who do
time.
you like? Who do you like in that game?
Well, I'm going to give New Orleans some props here, but I'm going to end up taking Atlanta in the game. New Orleans right now probably deserves to be the favorite. 2 of the last 3 games they held opponents to season low yardage, so they haven't yet raised the white flag. Has New Orleans, but Howard, you're talking about making them a favorite in a football game, and you're making them a favorite to a team that is going to be playing a quarterback that has a born again opportunity here in Kirk Cousins. Now, whether he's going to be able to take advantage of that remains to be seen, but he's still Kirk Cousins getting an opportunity to start a football game again. I think it's going to benefit Atlanta in this football game. I cannot lay New Orleans minus the points against anybody. They may be the worst team in the National Football League.
Yeah, and there's some bad teams out there. There
Yeah.
really are some bad teams. When the Raiders are favored by 4 points, I assume nobody believes in Shador Sanders yet.
Dion does.
Well, I don't know. That is, how could you? First of all, the game doesn't even belong to belong. It shouldn't even be played. But what the heck are the Raiders favored by 4? There's no way you could lay the points in that game, right? But you couldn't take Cleveland either. It's not a game you.
Well, I could get to Cleveland here for a couple of reasons. Number one, much, much, much the better defense here. Number two, in the National Football League, 80 yards better than the favored Las Vegas Raiders here, who are having a real tough time. You talk about leaking oil, Howard. They've been drowned in the stats the last 4 football games,
Yeah.
have the Raiders. And this I'll say about Sanders here. I know that Kevin Stefanski and the coaches did not want to draft this kid. It was forced upon him to draft him because they felt it was a steal because he should have probably gone in the second or third round of the draft. Nonetheless, he's there, and now he's going to be given his first opportunity. And everything that he's done so far this year has been in mop-up duty, and all week long he practices against nothing but the practice squad and second and third string players. This week he's had the opportunity to practice with the first team all week long. I think he's going to make the best of the opportunity here. I'm going to play Cleveland plus the points in the game. Even if it wasn't Sanders, I would play Cleveland in the game because of the defense and the fact that a Raiders should not be favored over anybody.
Do you, do you believe in the Kansas City Chiefs?
You know, a lot of people don't. I'm going to say that, and some good handicapping people that I also trade ideas and share thoughts and opinions with don't either. But I'm going to say this: what they're doing statistically this year is better than what they did last year. They're just not getting breaks. Last year they won every one of their close call games. They won every one of them. This year they've lost every one of their close
Mhm.
call football games. So the worm has turned on Kansas City here this football season, but they're still potentially capable of doing that. And there's a unique stat in this football game that just blew my mind, and it applies to Kansas City here. And basically, all it is if you are a football team that is 5-5 or worse after 10 games of the season, and you're favored against an 800 or better team, which Kansas City is. It's happened 14 times. They've won and covered the spread all 14 times. That applies to Kansas City in this football game here. You talk about needing a game like blood. This is Kansas City here. I think they will expose the Colts for who they are not. I think they're a highly overrated team.
So you're not a believer of the Colts.
I'm not a believer in the Colts. I'm not saying I'm in love with Kansas City. All I'm saying is their numbers are better than their record indicates, and the Colts are not as good as their numbers are not as good as their record indicates.
Okay. All right. So obviously the Eagles, the head coach, and I'm going to play it after you go off. Nick Sirianni. It's no bigger game than any other game as far as Nick Sirianni. He's in Philadelphia. He knows better, but he won't say. The players know what's going on. The players talk about, oh, it's a big game for the fans. Big game for the fans. How much do you have to try to use your cliche-ish type terms? And I think he's a good coach. I think he's got a great personality. He's a good guy, but this is bullshit.
Right.
It's a big game. Even the players understand it's a big game. But Nick Sirianni said it's no bigger than anything else. I think it's going to be a tough game. Your thoughts on the Eagles game?
I think it's going to be a war, Howard. And I think it's going to be whoever scores last wins the football game. Dallas is not as bad as they were to start the football season. They were chaotic after the trade of Marcus Parsons and really didn't have any traction to begin the season. Now they settled in here. They made those trades at the trade deadline and really, really beefed up their defense. It showed last week when they just crushed Vegas. Anybody can crush them, but they did just that, beat them almost 200 yards here. Whoever scores last wins the games. I have to take the points in a dog situation like that. Give me Dallas plus the points.
Yeah, and it's down. It was 3.5 pretty much all week. It's down, I think, in a lot of places now down to 3.
Yeah.
I don't know that it'll go below 3. I think it'll kind of probably settle in at 3 points.
There's a lot of love and respect for Dallas right now in Vegas for this particular football game.
So you think it could go below 3 then?
I think it will go to 3, yes.
Well, it is kind of 3.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll
Well,
go
can it go
below 3?
below? I don't know if it's gonna go below, but it's
Yeah,
gonna be a
right.
rock solid 3 is what it'll be.
Okay. All right. If people have interest in your services, 800-321-7777. You know what? I didn't I could I'm not gonna work on Thanksgiving Eve. I don't understand it, but it's the biggest party game of the year. If you don't mind, and I know you probably haven't looked at it that closely yet. Thanksgiving for the NFL, there's 3 games. There's no numbers on the games yet. Have you kind of looked ahead a little bit to see if you like a game? It's Green Bay at Detroit, Kansas City at Dallas, and Cincinnati at Baltimore. And then Joe Burrow is going to play in that game, most likely, when they play Baltimore. Do you like any one of those games?
Well, I think if people fall in love with Cincinnati that day because Joe Burrow is going to play, it'll be for all the wrong reasons because Cincinnati still has to bring a defense to the game, of which they don't have and Baltimore can expose. The game I think that could jump off the board the most on Thanksgiving Day might be Kansas City if Dallas ends up upending Philadelphia. Dallas will be in hog heaven after having done that, and Kansas City needs every win, like I say, like blood at 5-5 right now. I think Kansas City could be a real nice side in the football game against Dallas.
Yeah, and there's a lot of college games not on Thursday. No, the NBA shouldn't go against the NBA's done. The NBA's a bad product, and now they're going against football. They got no chance. But I see Georgia Tech, and not that big a deal. Old Miss, Mississippi State, not that big a deal. I don't really see any games on Friday. Nebraska, Iowa is obviously a big game, and Nebraska's coming off a big Penn State game. If Nebraska somehow beats Penn State, which wouldn't surprise me, would you like Iowa in that game on Friday?
If Nebraska pulls the rug, yes, I would. Iowa's a really nice football team on equal footing with in the football game with Nebraska. I think the game right now that jumps off the charts on Friday would be the Texas A&M Texas game. Texas A&M, if they win by 56 and cover that spread today against Samford, they're going to be targeted by Texas in this game. Texas, right now, their season went in the tank. This is going to be nothing but gravy for Texas in this football game here. And if they
Okay.
bring A&M a favorite in this football game, it would be a major mistake. I think
Okay.
Texas will take down A&M on Friday.
Okay. If people have interest in your services, 800-321-7777 or on the internet, playbooksports.com. Mark, have a very happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Likewise, Howard, you do the same. Be well and go easy on that whipped cream, okay?
Yeah, okay. I like whipped cream, actually. I do like whipped cream. All right. Thursday, kind of interesting. Well, the college should never go against the NFL and the NBA. The NBA, the ratings will double for the NFL. Double for the NFL. All right. I want to thank again, and we're going to get to your calls or your participation in the show. If the Cowboys win, it will be a awful week of listening to those loser Cowboy fans. But before we get to that, I want to talk about a winner, and that would be Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell, a guy that knows his stuff. You want to invest, and you want to invest wisely. Jeff Stillwell can help you. 732-343-0813. Great guy, but knows his stuff, and that's they're both important. That's probably more important, but they're both important. Great guy and knows his stuff. 732-343-0813. And we're going to have a question out of what Mark Lawrence says, and I'll come up with a question on something that Mark Lawrence said. But before we do that, let me tell you about a great deal. Black Friday is not just for going to department stores. Black Friday is also, I'm sure, going to be a big day at Audi Westchester because with 3.99% financing up to 72 months on the new remodeled A5 and A5 sedan, 1.99% financing up to 72 months on really a very popular vehicle for Audi, the Q5 SUV. 1.99% financing. Where do you find that? And by the way, once you go in there and work out your deal with Audi, then say, I want Claudio 500. And with the Claudio 500, you get another $500 off your deal because the sales manager, Claudio, will make sure you get another 500 off your deal. Audi Westchester, 1421 Wilmington Pike. Great people, fun time, great selection of automobiles. Grab a cup of coffee, grab some snacks, and look for a very, very fine vehicle. Audi Westchester, 1421 Wilmington Pike. Great deals. Look at those interest rates. They're sensational. Check them all out at AudiWestchester.com. And if you want a pool or you want to just redo your property and do some things to make it more fun, Piazza Property Pros, 25 years of experience. 25 years. And they don't subcontract. Don't subcontract. And that's really, really important because they're really good people. They know their stuff, whether it's pool maintenance, building a pool, excavation, hardscaping, fencing. Piazza Property Pros. Give them a call for a free consultation. 610-566-2608. 610-566-2608. All right, let's go. Who do we got up here, Joe? Okay. I'm going to make Cowboy Jim wait a little bit because patience is a virtue and Ellie doesn't have any, so we'll get annoyed. Let's go to Tony Woods. Tony, what's up?
Hi, Howard. Eskin there. I think the Dallas is going to be surprised again because it's Carter's revenge game from Spitting. Remember, he got kicked out of the last one.
Oh, it's just I don't think that has anything to do with one. Not anything whatsoever to do with the game.
Well, I don't know.
It's Dallas's revenge, and it's the tough part is it's hard to beat teams in your division twice in the same season. Now they did beat Dallas earlier, so it's revenge for Dallas, and Dallas is a better team. Eagles are a better team than they were at the beginning of the season. The Eagles are clearly a better team than the Cowboys.
And the other thing is the Eagles, they got to prove themselves, for offense. All the last couple of games they haven't been playing any offense.
Well,
so
their offense, they've been playing it, but they haven't been playing it well.
Well, yeah, I mean they're winning, chip shop games.
Okay.
But I think Barkley should have a good game, and I think Hurts should have a good game. He can't.
Well, what makes you have confidence? And I'm not saying he won't. What makes you, after what you've seen the last couple of games, what makes you have confidence in Jalen Hurts for this game?
Well, he's always come around. Whether when the pressure's still on him, he still comes through. Whether he's going to run the ball, you don't know whether
They've scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games.
Yeah, but but he's had games where he turns it around. He just I don't know. I just have a a hunch that he's going to.
He needs to be better. We both agree he needs to be better. Absolutely.
Then as far as I know the Sixers.
Sixers. Are they still playing Sixers?
Well, they were playing, like
hey,
let me just tell you. Messi had 54 points. The guys off the bench, Waterford and Grimes.
When is the
and then BJ had 10 rebounds the other night.
Okay. When is first of all, the NBA is such an awful product.
When have you ever seen the Sixers have 5 guys come off the bench and score and rebound?
When have you ever seen Milwaukee as an underdog at home to the Sixers? When's the last time that's the Sixers were a favorite in that game because there was no Giannis. So the Sixers were the favorite. Did you know that, Tony?
Well, I didn't know that, but I know they won.
Well, I
A
know they
little.
won. The NBA, two teams scored 140 points last night.
Now they
140 points. The NBA, these players play no defense. And Maxi's the best player on the team. Joel Embiid could never play another game, and
Well, that's
people
the other
should
thing
not
about
listen.
not having Joel Embiid. I think Drummond's a better player now that he lost a lot of weight.
Well, he is a better player because Joel Embiid's cooked, done. Paul George played 20 some minutes, but he
Yeah,
won't
he had
play.
a lot of jump shots.
He
Yeah,
won't get out of the 50s this year in games played. It's just the
and
Sixers. The Sixers will make the playoffs because it's everybody. Here's one question, and I know you won't be able to answer this. Do you have any idea what the NBA Cup is?
nah.
No. Well, wait a minute. They color the floor differently for the NBA Cup.
Oh,
Adam Silver,
the
that's
blue
that's
floor.
the most asinine, ridiculous uh, grab at an event, coloring the floor and calling it a special NBA Cup games. And you know it's an NBA Cup game because they changed the color of the floor. Isn't
And
that?
then
It's
Flyers.
silly.
That the goalie, he looks like more like Bernie Paranton in the day where he
Well,
had.
no. Let's not compare anybody to Bernie Bryant. But the Flyers, I mean, that was a grinding win. Hey, Tony, have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, you too, Howard. See you later. Bye bye.
All right, all right. Uh, it's just I see some of the comments before we get to our next genius here. James Franklin. This is Dale Wheeler. James Franklin, like Michael Myers at Halloween, you can't get rid of him. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I see what's it? Strata dude. Nobody wants Bohm. They tried to trade him last year. They tried to trade him last year, and they really couldn't get anything for him. It's just couldn't get anything for him. But who are the Phillies going to get? Bellinger is a guy plays Gold Glove level of right field and first base, and mashes in as a contact hitter. I don't know that he's going to leave the team he's with, but it's going to be interesting. I see Dale says all Hurts does is win. Yeah, the Eagles win, and they keep on winning. They're not going to go undefeated the rest of the year. Not the rest of the year. And I see who is this? PCH-Abington. Is that a new handle? Why did AJ Brown have to go after Saquon? I'm so sick of him. Well, I don't know that he went after He did mention Saquon, just as an aside. It just, but he really was not. He didn't go AJ Brown. He didn't go AJ Brown this week. Let's put it that way. He didn't go AJ Brown. And I see a response: Eagles win by 17. I don't think that's going to happen. But all right, let's get this out of the way. Cowboy Jim. Oh my God. It's just if the
Let's talk.
Cowboys win, you're going to be obnoxious.
Oh, absolutely. But
Yeah,
let's start off.
but everybody's kicked your ass the whole season because the Cowboys suck.
Let's start off with your opening song. Boy, who's strangling the cattle in that song? What? Good Lord!
Why don't you like anything other
I
than the
don't like the Eagles.
Cowboys?
I do not like the
Well,
Eagles.
other than the Cowboys, that song is actually pretty cool. My
No,
opening
no,
and
it's not.
closing song. It's actually pretty cool.
No, I think my dog was howling. I think my own.
Well, your dog is howling. You don't understand. Your dog is howling at you.
Yeah, and Mark Lawrence, come on. Nobody cares about Cal Stanford. Nobody cares. They're not even ranked teams. Nobody
You know
cares
what?
about that.
Hold it. See, here's where you're stupid. You are a dope. People only care if they can win games. And if there's a game that they can win because of certain circumstances
Yeah,
and
because
win a
they're
bet,
betting.
that's all they care. Well, that's the reality
Because they're
of it.
degenerate betting. They're
Uh,
gamblers, degenerate gamblers. Give me a
it's
break.
just Okay. All right.
Hey,
So,
hey, listen, and as for Notre Dame, if Notre Dame had Alabama's schedule, Notre Dame wouldn't even be in the top 25. Come on, we all
well,
know
I'm not a
that.
Notre Dame fan. We do agree with that. I'm
Yeah,
not a Notre
exactly.
Dame fan.
It's all
I
just to get them. It's all just to get them on TV. Give me a break. And as for I was going to say something about the Flyers. The Flyers are doing very well, but they're in a division where everybody else is doing very well too. So every point is important for the Flyers.
yeah, but they're grinders. They're actually playing. They're actually a good team. I don't know
They
how.
are. They are. They're just in
Yeah,
a division. Everybody else is playing well too.
yeah, they're actually a good team. Um, Good team. So yeah, don't tell me you're not upset with the Flyers, right?
No, I love the Flyers. No, I'll always love the Flyers. But
Oh,
let's get to the important thing. Let's get to the Cowboys. Um, this okay? Yes, they blew out the Raiders. I mean, something the Eagles can't do to any team. They can't blow anybody out. But I mean, come on, pump your brakes a little bit. I mean, people are saying they're on a roll. They're on a roll. Don't you remember they lost to the Cardinals before that? So, but having Overshone and Williams back, having them is going to be key. But the Cowboys need to score touchdowns, not field goals. We just can't. And the Eagles are really good at defending in the red zone. So we've got to get touchdowns. You can't just rely on a field goal all the time. And that's what's happened to these other teams. That's what happened to the Lions. That's what happened to Green Bay. Or they can't seem to get anything when they get into the red zone.
well, who? The Eagles?
The Eagles' defense is really good at stopping teams in the red zone when the
Yeah, and the
teams.
Eagles are good. They're not offense is not great right now, but they are good in the red zone. They are
Yeah,
good in the red zone.
yeah.
So
But
obviously, like you do every week, you think the Cowboys are going to win,
oh,
right?
absolutely. Listen. There's things here. Okay, they no turnovers, no turnovers. Okay, that especially for Dak. Okay, and we need the secondary is really important too for the Cowboys. The secondary, the defensive line has gotten better, but the secondary is pretty shaky. So again, if there's no turnovers and the refs are fair and balanced,
Oh, wait a minute.
yes.
So you don't think they're fair and balanced with the Eagles, then, huh?
They're very positive with the Eagles, especially when it comes to the tush push and the false starts, everything like that. Um, so yeah, I do predict that the Cowboys will win, but it won't be by much. But we've got to score touchdowns. We cannot rely on field goals.
Well, obviously, field goals don't win you games. Boy, you know what? The brilliance that you bring is just
Isn't it
mind
just
boggling.
blowing your mind?
It's just mind boggling. The
Just blow.
brilliance that you bring.
Well,
You are clearly a moron, nitwit, and a dope. Yeah, that's great. At Dallas.
all right,
Okay. All right.
all right.
Have
So you have a
have
good Thanksgiving.
yeah, you as well. Have a
Go eat a
great
lot of
thing.
that whipped cream. Go eat a lot of that whipped cream and
Okay.
tasty
All right.
cakes and
You know
Reese
what
cups. You go
you
eat
know what?
some.
You know what? You know where you and Thanksgiving relate?
What's that?
You're a turkey. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's dope. What a dope. You know, I told you I was going to play. Nick Sirianni does not believe that Dallas is any bigger game than any other game. He made a comment on Friday. Somehow, it's just, uh, come on, Nick. It's such a big game. Even your players recognize it. Let's hear from Nick Sirianni.
I know this is Dallas, and I know what this game means to the entire city, and I know what it means to their city. But if we get more up for this game or start coaching differently for this game than we do for any other game, then we didn't do our jobs the other games. And that's y'all. I think y'all asked me that about the Lions in response to their comments of, hey, this is a must win. We treat every game the exact same. So we're going to coach our ass off every single game. We're going to prepare our ass off every single game, regardless of the circumstances. And because there's always going to be a circumstance, and whether it's you lost to them the year before, that you beat them the year before, or it's Dallas, or it's a primetime game, or you name it. This guy's going home to his city, or whatever it is, right? our job is to be completely consistent. I got to be consistent with the messages and the things that they need to require, that I require from them. And we expect that same consistency from everybody. I expect that same consistency from everybody on a week-to-week basis. I think that's one thing that can contribute to sustained success is consistency. And I come to find that and love that about our players and our coaches, as that consistency of preparing for every team.
Okay, here's the deal, Nick. I think you're a really good coach, a really good coach, but it is a big game. And the players understand it's a big game for the fans. By you saying what you said, he's trying to downplay that it's a bigger game so the players don't get overly excited. Nick, it's a big game. They know it. It's the Dallas Cowboys. It's always a big game. And any player that comes to Philadelphia knows it's a big game. Absolutely. Some people here, and I asked, I see a comment about the NBA Cup. You know, the NBA Cup? Nah, that was funny. I have no idea about the NBA Cup is the NBA has done some ridiculous, stupid, foolish things. The NBA commissioner might be a nice guy, but he can't fix what's wrong with the NBA. And there's so many things wrong with the NBA. The players control it. But this NBA Cup is the biggest joke. And all of a sudden they designate games as the NBA Cup. And you know it's an NBA Cup game because they color the floor. It's the most asinine, ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And the NBA's outdone themselves with stupidity. All right. I see another comment here. Walter Stetler. I think, Walter, were you a winner at one time? Phillies better sign Riamulto. I don't think they're going to have enough money to sign Riamulto. And if you sign him, you're going to have to sign him for 3 years. And I would worry about injuries with Riamulto. I think, the catcher they have as a backup, he's not going to be as good offensively, but Riamulto doesn't strike you offensively. I don't know if I would sign Riamulto. I think the Phillies will probably do that because they will be afraid, because I don't know if they're going to be able to sign any other big players or make any other big trades. I see a comment here by Sean Crowley. MB drinks out of the NBA Cup on the bench and sweats. It's great work if you can get it. Embiid, once he got his contract, it was over. It was over. They knew he was hurt. He was hurt before that. Daryl Morey has done some awful, terrible things with this basketball team, and that is clearly one of them. And he did not draft Maxey, and he was general manager. He is the one that said it was Elton Brand. So don't give him credit for that. And then I see Ludell. 100% right. He said, Howard, you're 100% right. The Phillies need clutch hitters. They need contact hitters. They need contact hitters. That's what they need, contact hitters. And they don't have enough of those right now. They've got to find something. They've got to do something in this offseason. All right. Let me give you a question. And there's a couple of different things. But Mark Lawrence made some comments about Temple, and this is a broad question, and there's a lot of answers that could be right, so I'll include a lot of people because it's a really good prize. I think it's a really good prize. It's a collectible, a Mike Schmidt Gartland figurine, and that is actually Mike Schmidt's signature. That is his signature. Michael Jack Schmidt. It's an artist proof. It's number 7 of the artist proofs. Submit your answer by next Friday, November 28th. His comments about Temple. And again, it's a broad question. So his comments about Temple, Mark Lawrence, we both kind of had the same feeling. Submit it to our website, your answer. A winner will be selected at random, and you submit it by next Friday. It's a broad question, but you got plenty of time to go back and listen to the show. One thing I want to say before I leave the show today, Tony Bruno was on the last show, and Tony was terrific. Tony couldn't do his own show because he had a flare up with, and I don't want to get into the what he's got. He had a flare up and he couldn't do his show. I hope we all send Tony get well wishes. Get well soon, Tony. Get better. Want to hear your nonsense, and you know a lot of the things that you say that are an outrage. Uh, but Tony Bruno, get better, and get better soon, and have a happy Thanksgiving. And you too. We are not going to be on Wednesday night. I'm going to take it off because people are traveling, people are getting ready for Thanksgiving, and for whatever reason, that is one of the biggest party nights of the year. So I'm going to give you a break because I know you would be torn between listening to the Howard Eskin show and riding with the King. You'd be torn between that. So we'll take Wednesday off and we'll be on again next Saturday. Now, if anything crazy happens, obviously keep an eye out on my social media posts and we will be obviously staying on top of that. Everybody have a great, great weekend and a terrific Thanksgiving. Enjoy. And if you don't like turkey, I feel sorry for you. I actually do enjoy turkey. Enjoy it. Thanks to Joe Gangemi, who does all the great production work on the other side. And thanks to Tony Anastasia, who does all my graphics on my website and for the show. And you have a great weekend. And thank you for listening to the Howard Eskin Show. Oh, by the way, I will post my picks. Joe, you have that graphic. I will post my picks uh, on my social media page on my picks, and your donations to the Brandywine Valley SPCA are much appreciated by me and by those people at the Brandywine SPCA and Providence Animal Center, and they do great stuff for all these dogs and cats, and they do great stuff. And it will be posted. Just go to my social media, which you do know, and it's on my website. All right. Everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Thanks for listening to the Howard Eskin Show and riding with the King.